for the afternoon play.
The Killing of Mr. Toad by David Gooderson, with Barbara Jefford as Elspeth Graham, Edward Hardwick as Kenneth Grahame, and Stephen Garlick as their son Alistair.
Draw the curtains, please, Miss Noyce. Put out the fire. Table in position. Good. Let's take our places.
Will you be quite comfortable there, Mr. Figgis?
Perfectly, thank you, Miss Noyce.
And you, Millie, dear?
It's where I always sit, dear.
There's no chair for me. I thought you might be more comfortable on this little divan, Mrs. Graham.
Well out of the way.
It's not bad. It's just we thought it might be easier if you weren't actually in the circle.
Switch off the lights. I can see a chink of light under that door, Miss Noyce.
Oh, so sorry, Mr. Figgis. It's the hall light.
Spirit requires complete darkness.
I can't see a thing.
And complete quiet, if you will, as we close our eyes in prayer. We ask you, spirits, to take pity on our earthbound plight, to speak to us, and as you speak and show us proof of your existence, so we may be reunited with our dear ones.
Amen. Amen. Lead kindly eyes amid encircling gloom, lead thou me on. What on earth's she singing for? I thought we had to be quiet.
It helps the vibrations, dear. Helps the power.
Come on, ladies, let's have something a little jollier, something to aid our spirit friends.
The bells are ringing for me and my gal.
The birds are singing for me.
Don't know anymore.
Neither do I. Don't you know any rousing choruses, Mrs. Graham?
No, I do not.
What about I do like to be beside the seaside? Oh, I do like to be beside
The seaside. Oh, I do like to be beside the sea.
Oh, I do like. She was as beautiful as a butterfly and as proud as a queen was pretty little Polly Perkins of Paddington Green.
Oh, well done, Mrs. Graham.
Stop! The table. It's rocking.
2 knocks for yes, 3 for no.
Do you have a message for any of our circle? No.
What a shame.
Do you have a message for our visitor?
Yes, it's for you, Mrs. Graham.
Oh, he's coming through now. Very strongly. He's standing right behind me. Very tall. So handsome. Is it my boy? Is it Mouse? I don't think so, dear. He's got white hair and a big moustache.
My husband.
You sound disappointed, dear.
Where's Mouse? Ask him about Mouse.
He says his name's Dino. He keeps repeating it. Dino.
I know that, you fool.
He says he hopes the Wind in the Willows is selling well, and you're getting a lovely lot of royalties.
Oh, do stop bleating on. Fetch Mouse, for pity's sake.
No, I think you've frightened him off, dear. He's gone completely.
Spirit won't respond if you bully him.
Oh, that's it. I'm going home. Switch on the light.
Just a moment, dear. You haven't given Mr. Parker that lock of hair, have you?
Oh, very well. Since I've come all this way.
Oh, what beautiful hair. Such a lovely texture. Oh, no, what pain.
Is he all right?
Yes. Yes, I can see him ever so clearly. He says you must be happy for Mr. Toad's sake.
My darling boy.
All the animals insist that you look after yourself and eat properly.
Of course I will.
And enjoy them, as he did when he was a little boy in the nursery.
Oh.
Think of that lovely book, dear, and you'll always be happy.
I will.
Oh, now, he's going now. He's waving goodbye.
Goodbye, Mouse darling. Take care.
Can you manage, dear?
Of course I can.
Oh, you're in time.
Oh, no thanks to your driving. I told you we should have ordered a taxi.
Never mind, dear. A compartment all to yourself, that's nice. Oh, goodbye, dear.
Goodbye.
And remember, our dear ones are near us. You have your proof now.
Oh, stand back, for heaven's sake. You'll be cut to pieces.
It's only our stupid lack of faith that prevents us from seeing and hearing them.
I wonder. And the children that dwell in glory have captured a gentle soul. They are crowding round for the story of Ratty and Toad and Mole and Badger. Mustn't forget gruff old Badger, keeping them all in order, telling them what's what. Those little animals on the heady heights of Parnassus, among the immortals. It doesn't seem possible, even after their famous victory over the weasels. Mole must be dreadfully excited. And Ratty, dear Ratty, such a gentleman. Is he still messing about in boats?
So this is a river. The river. And you really live by the river, Rat?
By it, and with it and on it and in it. It's my world, Mole. I don't want any other.
Do you know, Ratty, I've never been in a boat before in all my life.
What? Never been in a... You never... Well, I never. What have you been doing then?
Is it so nice as all that?
Nice? It's the only thing. Believe me, there is nothing. Absolutely nothing. Half so much worth doing as simply messing about in boats. You're always busy, yet you never do anything in particular. When you've done it, there's always something else to do, and you can do it if you like. But you'd much better not.
What a jolly life.
Simply messing about in boats.
Look ahead, Rat, the bank.
The dreamer, the joyous oarsman. They're so like you, my Dino. The same innocence, the same indolence, the same love of food.
Well, here's our backwater, where we're going to have lunch. Give us a hand with the luncheon basket.
What's inside it?
Oh, just a trifle of lunch. Cold tongue, cold ham, cold beef, pickled gherkins, salad, French rolls, cress sandwiches, potted meat, ginger beer, lemonade, soda water. Nothing special.
Oh, this is too much.
Oh, do you really think so? It's only what I always take on these little excursions. The other animals are always telling me I'm a mean beast and cut it very fine.
Can we start now?
By all means.
Oh, my German sausage! Garibaldi biscuits? Oh, a military pickle.
Pitch in, old fellow.
What lies over there?
That? Oh, that's just the wild wood. We don't go there very much, we riverbankers.
Aren't they very nice people in there?
Well, Badger's all right. He lives right in the heart of it. Wouldn't live anywhere else if you paid him. Dear old Badger. Nobody interferes with him. Oh, they'd better not.
And beyond the wild wood, where it's all blue and dim.
Beyond the wild wood comes the wide world.
The wide world? Whatever's that?
That's something that doesn't matter, either to you or me. I've never been there, and I'm never going. Nor you either, in any sense at all. Now, don't ever refer to it again, please.
Sorry, Ratty. Oh, my, what a day I'm having. It's all so exciting. The sparkle and the ripple and the sunlight. I'll have a little rest on this pile of old leaves.
Is someone trying to sit down on me?
Oh, I don't think so.
Oh, yes, they are. Now, the very next time this happens, I shall be exceedingly angry. I will not have people sitting down on me as if I were part of the furniture. Who is it this time? Speak up.
Why, it's Mr. Badger.
Company. These crowds. Can't a fella get any peace and quiet?
That's just the sort of fellow he is. Simply hates society.
They're all so like you. You poured yourself into all your creations. Well, not all. Mr. Toad is the exception that proves the rule. He's quite different. To think, my Dino, you even left me a picture of my own little son. Exaggerated, of course, but oh, so lifelike.
Hello, you fellows! This is the live, eh?
It's Toad.
Good old Toady.
Oh, unhappy Toad.
The open road, the dusty highway. Here today, in the middle of next week tomorrow. Oh, sorry I'm late, you chaps, but I've had rather a busy morning. Escaped from prison, dressed as a washerwoman. Devilish cunning disguise, what? Jumped a train, swam a river, stole a motor car, and boop, boop, I'm here!
Escaped from prison, you clever, ingenious Toad.
Don't encourage him, Mole. You'll only make him worse.
The world has known great heroes, as history books have showed, but never a name to go down to fame compared with that of Toad.
Toad, you boastful, puffed-up animal. It's not you we want to celebrate, it's...
KG.
Thank you, Rat.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Badger, sir. I mean, Your Majesty, Your Magnificent...
That will do. We wish to sing the praises of your creator, Mr.
Kenneth Grahame.
Yeah, precisely, Mole. A small entertainment in his honour.
Song by Toad, words and music by Toad, from an original idea by Toad, performed by the author,
Toad.
with a little help from his friends.
The clever men at Oxford.
Have every kind of degree.
But which of them came to win such fame as popular Mr. G?
Teddy Roosevelt in the White House.
The Kaiser is yacht at sea.
But who was their choice? Was it Freud? Was it Joyce?
No, it was Mr. G. The children were shut in the nursery. The grown-ups had got the key.
Who gets out?
Let them out! Let them out! Revolutionary Mr. G!
He was the children's champion in all the works he penned.
Oh, how they cried.
Sent flowers when he died.
KG, the children's friend.
The children's
Splendid, splendid.
But haven't we missed out a verse?
Have we?
About a very important person.
Who?
Who married the man who sired the boy who inspired the tale that you are. Who?
Listen.
A lady sat at her window, waiting patiently.
She cried.
Look, who's that handsome man?
They answered,
Mr. G.
Why are you all pointing at me?
Tall, handsome, captain of the 15, a god among men.
Does she mean me?
Yes, you, my modest Dino.
Moley as KG? Simple little mole as my creator?
As your great-grandfather, the Archdeacon, might have said, had he lived. In every man of stature there is a shy little animal crying to be let out.
Don't you mean let in?
Good afternoon. My name's Graham. I wonder if I might have a word with Mr. Fletcher Moulton.
Who is it, Max?
A gentleman from Mr. Fletcher Moulton, Mum.
I'm afraid he's out at the moment. Can I help?
Oh, I doubt it. It's a business matter concerned with the Bank of England. Dull stuff, I'm afraid.
Well, come in anyway.
Would you care for some tea?
Well, I really ought not to spare the time.
But you will.
Thank you.
We'll take tea in the drawing room, Mags.
Very good, Mum.
Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Elspeth Thompson, Mr. Fletcher Moulton's stepdaughter.
And I'm Kenneth Grahame.
Not the Kenneth Grahame of Pagan Papers fame.
I'm afraid so.
Oh, you must think me dreadful not recognizing you.
Not at all.
Well, won't you come through to the drawing room? Well, this has made my day, Mr. Grahame.
The pleasure is mine, Miss Thompson.
You know, it's almost uncanny. Ever since I was a child, famous writers have been drawn to me. Tennyson was.
Tennyson? How did you come to know him?
We met on holiday in Pontresina. We were great friends.
You and Tennyson?
Yes, I was 10 and he was 63. and when I was 8, Mark Twain came to call. My parents were out, so I received him in the nursery. Will you take tea, I said. Tea, he replied. I only drink whiskey. So I ran downstairs with the teapot and told the butler to fill it with whiskey. And Mr. Twain drank it. Neat. But don't you try it on, Mr. Grahame. As an expert on childhood, it wouldn't be the thing.
Oh, even though I'm a Scot.
How do you find time to write and be a pillar of the Bank of England?
I'll let you into a secret, Miss Thompson. I have a red ledger in which I scribble. Not all my scribbles are strictly financial.
During office hours?
It has been known.
You write so wonderfully about children, Mr. Grahame. Dare I ask how many you have?
Oh, I'm a bachelor, and one of the secrets of my success is that I make it a rule not to spend too much time being entertained by charming young ladies. So now, if you will excuse me, I must be getting back to the bank.
Well, you shall come to one of my soirees. Only the best are invited. Browning, Swinburne, the notorious Mr. Wilde, Lord Leighton.
I shall be honoured to be included in so distinguished a company. Goodbye, Miss Thompson.
Au revoir, Mr. Grahame.
That was quite good, Moley. Quite promising.
Be quiet, Toad. A rat to the pianoforte.
She was as beautiful as a butterfly.
But a spinster. Oh, dear.
Was not so young, Miss Thompson.
Of smart Onslow Square.
She kept house for her stepdad, a judge and MP.
Giving luncheons and soirees for society.
The rich and the respectable their compliments paid.
But the fate that she feared was to die an old maid.
He was as famous as Tennyson,
and as nice as his books.
And although rising 40, he still had his looks.
For a year they were courting,
though hardly on fire.
But then they were parted.
A spur to desire.
In Cornwall he convalesced after pneumonia.
But she had to stay in London looking after Papa.
36 Onslow Square, 6th of June, 1899. My darling Dino,
I'm sending you another food parcel, 'cause I'm worried about your diet. And who's going to be a good boy and eat it all up, or Mink, you'll be very cross. And I'm sending you a nice woolly muffler and an umbrella. Oh, Dino, I've a shocking sin to confess. Last time I forgot to put mustard in the pasties. Right soon, my pet?
Foy, Hotel Foy, Cornwall. Darling Minky, there was mustard in the pasties, so that needn't lay on your conscience. Wish you was laid up with me here. The chambermaid had on a white gown with pink spots this morning, what stood out with starch and virtue. Perhaps if you starched your gowns, you wouldn't keep talking about spending all night with Dino. But perhaps you'd better not starch them.
Minky can only spend all night with Dino when Dino has asked Papa.
I play at your being here honeymooning, and call it our poppy moon, 'cause it's a dream moon. I only hope the real one will be as nice. Come and be stroked, my sweet, before poppies is quite over.
The real one will be twice as nice, and we'll be in Poppyland forever. But Dino must write to Papa. Oh, London is horrid, stuffy and hot. I'm worked to death. Luncheons, visits, soirees. Papa is inexhaustible.
Poor Minky. And when it's all over, you can't go out and play with boats in a harbour like what I can.
Dino, it's very naughty to waste all your precious strength messing about in boats. I think boats is your real love.
Minky, darling, you mustn't think I'd ever throw you over for boats. Though some is bright blue and some sealing wax red, which makes 'em hard to resist.
I think you don't care nothing for Minky slaving away in stuffy old London with grumpy Papa, when all the time her heart is in Cornwall with her Dino.
But I do care. I've written to your father today.
Good God. Wants to marry her? The boy's abandoned his senses. James? James, where are you?
Here, sir. Sorry, sir.
Where the devil's Miss Elspeth?
In the morning room, sir.
Well, fetch her, for heaven's sake.
Sir.
I'd thought bitter of the boy. Especially after drinking all my port.
You wish to see me, Papa?
Yes. Now, about this letter.
What letter?
From Kenneth, of course. The answer is no over my dead body.
Don't shout, Papa.
I am not shouting. But I will shout as loudly as is necessary to convey my total opposition to this match. Oh, Kenneth may be a good enough fellow, but you scarcely know him.
What you mean is that you're afraid of losing your unpaid housekeeper.
Oh, arrant nonsense. But since you mention it, who will look after this establishment if you go?
You'll have to pay someone. Or marry again.
The answer is no.
In which case, my dearest Dino, we have no alternative but to elope.
Elope?
We'll run away together to Gretna Green in a post-chaise.
A post-chaise? All the way to Gretna Green? When?
Oh, don't be so maddeningly practical. In any case, I've been working on dear Papa. I think you will be receiving a letter shortly.
What a relief. I'm feeling much steadier on pins. Walked downtown today to have a look at the church.
A church? How unromantic. Next you'll be plaguing me with rings and dreary little bridesmaids.
I do think there should be a ring in the business somewhere to appease the gods, so to speak.
I will not be petit bourgeois. I will not wear a ring.
Wish we could employ an agency for all the details. Must go, as Mr. Q has just called to take me sailing.
Mr. Q? Who's he?
Arthur Quillacooch. He's lent me a skiff, so I can explore all on my own up creeks and backwaters. You'll meet him when you see fit to come down.
I'm not interested in Mr. Q. I want you. I will not be a martyr to tides.
Darling, how'd you like to go on living in London and come away with me for weekends? Then you needn't write no notes, and it would be so nice and immoral.
Dino, the idea. I've just been telling my aunt how profoundly I love you.
So glad you've told your aunt, 'cause don't think you've ever mentioned it to me. As the 22nd is so near, I suppose I may infer the date is fixed for then.
Absolutely settled. Things is very busy, but I'll try to get down 2 or 3 days before.
2 or 3 days. Minky, I think you're wrong, and I think you will think you're wrong later.
I'm busy shopping. Shopping for clothes. I found a gorgeous bridal gown. Wickedly expensive.
But, darling, 2 days to go a-courting is a poor allowance. Dino wants you badly and at once.
But soon it'll be next week.
Then it'll be this week. And then what larks, eh?
What larks?
We'll think of nothing except you and me.
We'll paddle in pools left by the tide.
I'll hold you all over.
We'll spend all night together.
I'll kiss every section of you.
All night.
And don't exhaust yourself, because I want to do the exhausting of you when he gets here. So you've got to save up for your lover, who's waiting for you and is your own loving...
Dino!
Minky!
I'm here! Oh! Oh!
Best wishes.
Absolutely.
Congratulations.
Good luck. Bon voyage.
Goodbye.
Bon voyage.
Take care.
Goodbye, people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What's the matter? Dino, what's the matter?
Nothing.
2 boats sharing the same wave. That's us. That's what you wrote. Oh, Dino, we don't need no love post now. We don't need nothing except you and me. Haven't you got a kiss for your little Minky?
I'm trying to finish the crossword.
You and your crossword. I think you're angry with me.
What for?
Well, not wearing my wedding dress, arriving at the altar in an old frock.
Oh, it was rather singular. But heavens, no.
Then what is it?
Later, perhaps.
Later? It's the first time we've been alone together for days. Sailing with Q, rowing with Q, night fishing. I married a man, not a yacht club.
We'll stay in the hotel if you'd prefer.
I have no intention of staying in the hotel. I wish to be with my husband. Well, this is our poppy moon, remember? Night fishing is all very well, but there are other things to do at night, aren't there? Dino, exhaust me.
I'm busy.
Nonsense.
But I've got things to do.
What things?
Oh, things.
We'll share them.
You can't share a dream. Dreams are private. Keep out.
Was I such a failure the other night?
Of course not.
Then why are you behaving like this?
Forgive me. It's only my beastly virtue.
Virtue?
It's been my enemy all along.
What do you mean?
Well, I find it difficult to be, frankly, depraved.
Depraved? But we're married. I'm not asking you to be depraved. I'm asking you to love me, as you promised.
I will try.
You'll try.
I told you, I'm busy.
Busy? Dreaming? This is absurd.
Oh, dreams are very important.
More important than people?
They're more dependable.
Dreams? Dependable? Well, now you're losing your reason.
Dreams are the only bearable reality. If you're 5 years old and your mother dies and your father turns to drink and you're dispatched to a grandmother 400 miles away...
I know.
They're the gateway to a far better world than this. A world not of tawdry facts, but of ideals, the true reality.
I'm real. I need you, Dino.
Well...
Where are you off to?
Going south with the rest of them. Seawards first and then on shipboard and so to the shores that are calling me.
What shores? What do you mean?
Italy.
Italy? How romantic. Will the bank let you go?
Oh, yes.
Well, when do we sail?
I think I'll go on my own.
Can't I come?
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Always goodbye. Your favourite word. Goodbye, I'm going out. Goodbye, I'm staying in. Goodbye, I shall be away for a few days, weeks, months. Goodbye, I'm locked in a private world. Kindly do not disturb. I was a widow from the very beginning.
all those years ago. It was a miracle I became pregnant.
Bang go the drums, the trumpeters are tooting, and the soldiers are saluting,
And the cannon they are shooting, and the motor cars are hooting.
as the hero comes. Shout hooray, and let each one of the crowd try and shout it very loud.
In honour of an animal of whom you're justly proud.
For it's Toad's great day.
It's a boy. It's a boy. Oh, he's beautiful, beautiful.
It squints.
Oh, baby, squint. So, there you are, my little mouse.
I thought my name was Alistair.
You're my little mouse and always will be.
Little, he's enormous.
Give Mummy a nice hug.
Don't. I cannot abide being kissed.
Quite right. Men don't kiss.
Men do, but not children like you. You're the child, not he.
As a matter of fact, Mouse, your mother's quite right. I don't feel at all grown up. Do you know, I can remember everything I felt between the ages of 4 and 7. Nothing has been quite so vivid since.
Arrested development. Come with me, Mouse. I've got a secret for you.
Oh, I love secrets.
I've had a reply from Mrs. Hardy.
Who?
Mrs. Hardy. She's the wife of Thomas Hardy, who is a very famous author.
Like Daddy.
Oh, much more famous than him. I wrote to ask her advice, and she says that love, proper and enduring, is not in the nature of men. The most they're capable of is a sort of easy affectionateness, like children.
Mouse, would you like to come indoors and play with my toys?
Toys?
I've got a whole room full. There's a fish and a snake and a beetle that flaps his wings. They all wind up.
Mouse?
Shall we have a race?
No, don't go, Mouse. I've got something very exciting to tell you.
What is it?
Mr. Hardy likes my poems.
What poems?
My poems, darling. The poems I write. He says they're charming and remarkable.
I've got a lovely lot of dolls.
Dolls?
A whole drawer full.
Dolls are soft.
Mr. Hardy especially likes my latest poem, which I've simply called Rejected.
Which reminds me, has anyone been looking after them while I was away?
Rejected.
Dolls need water, seed and groundsel, or they die.
Mouse, where are you going?
Don't run into the road, there's a good chap.
Well, don't just stand there. Stop him, Kenneth. Where's Nanny? She should be here.
Look out, there's a motor car. Get up out of the road, you silly boy.
Get up, you'll be killed.
Poop, 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 poop.
Mouse, that was not funny.
It was silly and dangerous.
Especially with eyes like yours.
What are you talking about, Kenneth?
His eyes.
There's nothing whatsoever wrong with his eyes.
Except for a cataract in one and a bad squint in the other. The boy is semi-blind, Elspeth. It's a fact we have to face.
Come here, Mouse. Look at me. Oh, they're like jewels. They shine as you're going to shine one day, brilliantly.
I shall make pots of money when I grow up.
Of course you will. You'll be a great man. Have you written any more plays?
No.
Why not?
I can't think of anything to write about.
Oh, you're as bad as your father. Still, I forgive you. The last one was so good. You know, I promised to send it to an expert for his opinion. Well, read that.
The sound dramatic. I can't.
What?
Read it.
Oh, well, some of the words are awfully long.
It's not that. I can't see properly.
This is the sentence I like. The sound dramatic construction resembles Metalink. Metalink?
Who's he?
A very famous author. Will you do it again for me and play all the parts?
Not all. You'll have to help.
Of course.
And I'll rope in old inferiority as well.
Oh, Mouse, you shouldn't call your father that.
You started it.
He's dropped off again.
Wakey, wakey. I'm doing my play.
What? Again?
You're in it.
Oh, right.
Bab, Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Mouse Enterprises present Scenes from A Short Life.
What?
An original play in 3 acts by A. Grahame.
You've changed the title.
Oh, this is a different play. I'm improvising.
Well, stand up straight. You'll never be a proper actor if you slouch.
The play explores the picaresque adventures...
Picaresque, that's a long word.
Will you not interrupt? Of a young man named Alistair, known affectionately to family and friends as Mouse. The role of Mouse will be played at this and every performance by the author.
Bravo!
Act 1. Send for the ambulance. The year is 1904. The speed limit for motor cars has reached an amazing boop 20 miles per hour. And your intrepid hero has grown too old for such childish pursuits as lying in the path of oncoming vehicles. He is now 4.5 years old. Mater is in Woodhall Spa, having a nervy turn. Pater is in Spain, doing goodness knows what. And I'm in boring old Broadstairs, boo-hoo, all on my owney-woney, except for Nanny. I know. I'll get peritonitis. That'll bring them running.
Darling Mouse, I came by the first train.
Hello, Mater.
My dear boy, I came by the first boat.
Hello, Pater.
Darling, how are you?
It hurts.
You're so brave. Oh, I really must sit down.
You've been away for ages. You might at least have written...
I was too ill to write letters, Mouse. The doctor specifically forbade it. In fact, I cut short my convalescence to come and see you.
I'm a nuisance, I know.
You're not, my precious. I was ordered to rest my nerves completely. Just sit on the sofa all day and sip hot water.
Morning. Morning.
Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Grahame, I expect you're as delighted as I that the operation was a complete success. The wound is healing nicely.
Brave as a lion.
Hello, young man. How are you feeling today?
Come on, Mouse. Say hello to the doctor.
Hello, Doctor. Are your bowels open today?
Mouse, that's not a very nice thing to say.
Nice? Then why is he always saying it to me? I didn't start it. He said it first. Are your bowels open today?
Plain song at the age of 4.
Have you no control over your offspring?
Not much.
Well, are they open or not?
Really?
I expect they're closed for lunch.
Disgraceful behaviour.
Well acted, Mouse. That was hilarious. You've quite cheered me up.
Act 2. The Lonely Young Man.
Lonely? You were never lonely. You were always a social animal.
Littlehampton. The seaside. Oh, I do like to be beside the seaside. Oh, I do like to be beside the sea. Oh, I do like to stroll along the prom, where the brass band plays tiddly-om-bom-bom. Oh, I do like to be beside the seaside. I'd be beside myself with glee. But I'm here all on my own, with my nanny far from home. My ma and pa have deserted me.
Nonsense. We had to stay at home for your father's work. If you're going to be silly, I shan't listen.
They've been and gone to horrid Cornwall, 'cause Littlehampton's not their cup of tea. Oh, I'd raise a hearty cheer if only they were here, beside me, beside the sea.
Greenbank Hotel, Falmouth, Cornwall. My darling Mouse, this is a birthday letter to wish you many happy returns of the day. 7. What an age! I wish our taste in places was similar so that we could be together.
So do I. Birthdays aren't so chirpy with only Nanny.
But we will meet again soon, and then we will have treats.
Dear Dad, how soon is soon? Could you come here for the weekend? Please do.
I have sent you 2 picture books. One about Brer Rabbit from Daddy, and one about some other animals from Mummy. And we have sent you a boat painted red with mast and sail, to sail in the round pond by the windmill.
Dear Mum, can't you come for the weekend? Please do. I miss you very much.
And Mummy has sent you a boat hook to catch the boat when it comes ashore. Also, Mummy has sent you some sand toys to play in the sand with, and a card game.
Dear both, how dare you not come here for the weekend? I like it so much at Littlehampton that I want to live here. Yours, A. Grahame.
Have you heard about the toad?
Of course I have, silly. Do you think I'd forget my favourite character and all those exciting stories you told me to help me get to sleep? I wish you were here now. It's not the same when Nanny reads it. A bedtime story by post, I ask you. I shall change my name. I shall change my name to Robinson, Michael Robinson. It's a far finer name than Alistair Grahame. Act 3. Enter Robinson. There will now be a short pause while I change my props.
Wasn't that the name of the lunatic?
What lunatic?
He came into the bank and fired a revolver at you.
Oh, that. It was a long time ago.
Well, you must remember. He tried to kill you.
I am Robinson, and I wish to see the Secretary of the Bank of England.
Mouse, do you mind?
Read this, or I'll blow your brains out.
That's right. He produced a scroll or something and kept waving it at you.
Read it.
It looks awfully long, Mouse.
Read it.
Very well.
Aha! That proves it. Guilty.
What does?
Examine the scroll closely, and you will note that it is tied at either end with a ribbon. One white, one black.
Well?
I offered you the scroll lengthwise. It was open to you to grasp either end. And you chose the end bound by the black ribbon. Guilty!
What a memory the boy has. He's remembered every detail.
Do we have to continue with this charade?
I think it's rather fun.
I shall now read the charges. Dear sir.
Well, he was surely not as polite as that.
And madam.
Madam who?
You.
Me? It has nothing to do with me.
Oh, yes, it has.
I wasn't there.
Exactly. Dear sir and madam. 1. Why didn't you come and see me in my school play?
That has nothing to do with the lunatic.
No, but it has a lot to do with me.
In any case, last time you forgot your lines.
I know I did, but it was only an amateur performance with very amateur actors. Not up to the standard of Sarah Bernhardt and Sir Henry Irving, I know. But it was very exciting for me, as I was actually in it.
Mouse, we would have come. We wanted to come.
Then why didn't you?
There were simply no trains.
No trains?
Were there, Kenneth?
I don't expect so.
I thought you were keen on plays.
We prefer it if you write them.
2. Why couldn't I come home for the coronation? Everyone else did, except the boys whose parents live in Timbuktu or somewhere. And 3. Do you know the date of the end of term?
Oh, don't be silly, darling.
I keep telling you and you keep forgetting.
Well, it's, Thursday week, isn't it?
No, it's Tuesday. Tuesday, December the 19th, in the year of our Lord, 1911. Is that clear? I do not wish to be left at school for Christmas.
I'm getting awfully tired of your little plays.
Varium et mutabile semper est femina.
The Latin's coming on.
I wish I could have Jack to stay. Please, could I? He's my pal.
Mouse, you'll make me ill. For the umpteenth time, that subject is closed. Now, clear away your junk and go to bed.
Anyway, I don't care. I've got one pal who's with me always. He's the carpenter.
A carpenter? I didn't think we knew any carpenters.
He's Jesus Christ.
Oh, that fairy tale. Oh, never mind, you'll grow up one day. Don't forget the scroll.
That's for you.
For me? I wasn't the guilty one. It belonged to your father, not me. He was the one who had the nightmares. Nightmares that reeked of guilt. Not that he told me about them. Never told me anything, did you? But they emerged eventually, hidden in the writing mostly, what little there was of it. Oh, yes, Mr. Graham's nights were very disturbed.
They're catching up with me. I must run faster. Faster. I must hide. I can see a face. An evil, wedge-shaped face. And another. In every hole. Every hollow, hundreds of them, the whole wood is after me. Hunting, chasing, closing in.
Gentlemen, before I ask you
to raise your glasses
and drink the health
of our retiring secretary,
Mr. Kenneth Grahame.
What?
I beg your pardon?
Retire?
Of course.
I don't understand.
Have a word with him.
the new governor recommends your immediate retirement.
But I'm only 49.
For health reasons.
Well, my health is far from perfect, I know. There have been absences due to illness, but I...
You leave the office early, you arrive late, you take exceptionally long holidays. The new governor will not tolerate passengers.
But I must see something of my family.
What family?
You have neglected your family.
Solo trips abroad.
Got to stay in town due to pressure of work.
You're an absentee father, an absentee husband.
Well, I write books.
What have you produced in the last 10 years?
Well, let me think.
Nothing.
Wait. I wrote a short story for my son's nursery magazine, Bertie's Escapade, about a pig who goes carol singing.
Nothing. Despite being bullied by publishers.
But I'm a spring, not a pump. Oh, and I have a manuscript that I'm hoping will be accepted, based on some bedtime stories I told my son.
I was the driving force behind that.
But how can you say such a thing? That is simply not true.
Who preserved the Toad letters?
Nanny did.
And who dug them out of the drawer when that publishing woman came sniffing around for any scraps you could throw her?
The Wind in the Reeds, or whatever I decide to call it, owes nothing to you whatsoever. That little book is free from problems, clean of the clash of sex.
A good thing, too. On that subject, you know less than nothing.
It's about life, and fresh air, and open spaces.
All of which you will shortly be free to indulge to your heart's content. You are requested to retire forthwith.
Well, couldn't I continue for a few months or so, at least until my book is published?
Your pension will be £400 per annum.
Is that all?
Is that all? After 29 years.
And now, gentlemen, raise your glasses and drink the health of Mr. Grahame.
I can't. Not in front of all these people.
There
are hundreds and hundreds of them.
Pray silence for Mr. Grahame.
He can't think of anything to say.
Turn him out!
No! Wait! He did have something to say.
A book at last.
Congratulations, my dear fellow.
I'm so pleased for you.
After a 10-year gestation.
I know that the Wind in the Wotsits will be a huge success.
Despite the somewhat grisly reviews.
A bread and butter jungle book.
Rather witty, one has to admit.
Of course, in my opinion, he should stick to writing about children. I much preferred the Golden Age.
So did I. But did you know that the bodily head turned this one down flat?
My dear, who didn't? Poor Curtis has gone absolutely hairless hawking the thing round.
On both sides of the Atlantic.
Awfully sporting of Matthew to give it a try.
Indeed. But did you know that he couldn't actually bring himself to guarantee an advance?
Gentlemen, did you read Mr. Middleton of Vanity Fair?
Oh, Middleton does the Highland fling about anything.
Teddy Roosevelt loved it. It's to be published in New York.
Oh, my dear, in America they do the strangest things.
And did you see the sales figures?
I can't say we did. My God.
Look at this.
Second edition already.
The damn thing's a bestseller.
More champagne, gentlemen?
Well, I always said the book has something.
So did I. It was only a matter of time, wasn't it?
For he's a jolly good fellow.
For he's a jolly good fellow.
For he's a jolly good fellow.
Now he'll write a whole string of masterpieces.
And so say all of us.
And so say all of us. And so say all of us. For he's a jolly good fellow. And so say all of us.
This way, Professor.
It's awfully muddy, Kenneth.
Oh, that's the country for you. Now, I want you to meet one of my special friends.
You mean this big black sow here?
This is Rosalie, aren't you? Rosalie, I introduce Professor Clayton Hamilton from Princeton, New Jersey.
Glad to know you, Rosalie.
Professor is visiting me because he's interested in Mr. Toad. And Rosalie is my favorite lady. Aren't you?
Does your wife know about this?
Oh, we don't mention it to her, do we? She suspects nothing.
Do you have any other girlfriends?
You'll make her jealous. You're the only pig in my life. Aren't you beautiful?
My lips are sealed. I won't mention a single one of those hens, cows, and sheep we've called in on this afternoon.
Animals are honest, you see. They don't lie. And they don't demand things of you except food in certain circumstances. I prefer animals to people.
I want to pick a bone with you, Kenneth. You made us wait 10 years for the Wind in the Willows. 10 years. We were told, of course, that you were busy at the Bank of England, but that excuse no longer holds. You won't keep us waiting another 10, will you?
You sound like my publisher.
So, when do we get the next one?
Oh, I doubt if I shall ever write another book.
Why not, for God's sake?
The effort is enormous.
But the lovers of the Wind in the Willows have been counted by the thousands. All of them are eagerly awaiting another book.
I'm not a professional author. I am fortunate enough not to need any money, and I dislike notoriety. Besides, to toil at making sentences means to sit indoors for many hours cramped above a desk. Yet outside, the wind may be singing through the willows and my favorite sow preparing to deliver a large litter in the fullness of the moon.
It's one hell of a waste.
Not at all. Every man must be true to his talent, Professor. Mine is for doing nothing.
Say, shouldn't we be getting back? See what Mamie and Elspeth have gotten up to?
I don't expect there'll be a thing for supper, but we can try our luck.
Well, Blueberry isn't medieval, my dear Mamie. It's Saxon.
Saxon? My gracious.
King Alfred probably burnt his wretched little cakes in our kitchen.
King Alfred? It's so old.
Well, I trust you've all had sufficient. I'm so relieved you weren't hungry, Professor.
Oh, why no? Of course not.
You must miss London, Elspeth.
London? Where's that? I haven't spoken to a civilized human being since we came here.
It's only 50 miles away.
It might as well be 5,000. Well, I expect we're all tired. I'm going to bed. I'll show you to your room, Amy. We'll leave the men folk to clear away and lock up. And then Kenneth will take the professor to his quarters.
We're not together?
No, why?
Well, we're married.
So are we. If it troubles you, I'll change everything round.
Oh, no. Please don't make us any extra bother.
Well, it would be quite a bother, as the rooms are at opposite ends of the house.
Oh, well, then. It's only for a couple of nights. Good night, dearest.
Good night, Clay.
See you in the morning.
Sleep well, honey.
Good night, Kenneth.
Good night.
Kenneth, I hope you don't mind my asking, but do you normally segregate the sexes like this?
Well, we don't get many visitors.
No, of course not. Oh, well, when in Rome, eh? Or should I say, when in Blueberry?
I forgive you, Dino, for all the disappointments, the books you never wrote, the love we never shared, years of dejection, anger, wrong. After all, you gave me Mouse, and he made up for everything. So brilliant, so witty, so understanding, a young St. Francis. I can see him now, our first Christmas at Blueberry, standing up to sing a carol in front of the whole village.
Villagers of this frosty tide, let your door swing open wide. The wind may follow and snow beside, yet draw us in by your far to bide. Joy shall be yours in the morning. Joy shall be yours in the morning. Joy shall be yours in the morning.
So tall in the light of the storm lantern, the rough villagers in the shadows at his feet, he sang as sweetly as an angel. Oh, please, my nerves.
The mummers are here,
Oh, Mouse, You'll make me ill again.
I'm doing a mumming play.
Oh, can't you mum quietly?
Mummers aren't quiet.
Don't remind me. They were worse than ever this year. What cheap comic songs from the London music halls have to do with good old St. George and the Dragon, I shall never know.
Pray silence for the prologue.
Oh, very well, if we must.
Here be I, Master Mouse, to tell a tale to all this house, a tale of woe so drab and drear that you won't 'scape shedding a tear. Brave St. George and... Where is he?
Where is who?
Where's inferiority?
Walking. Where do you think?
And Dragon she...
What?
Were locked in deadly enmity. But never fear, no blood did flow, they never would exchange a blow. Yet harm was done, as you will see. The victim, an innocent third party.
Whatever are you going on about?
I will not tell what is his name. I'll simply say it's a great big shame.
What is?
What?
A great big shame.
Well, nothing, it's a song.
Why didn't you say so?
A music hall song.
A music hall song?
It's my favourite.
Oh, come on, Mouse. Enough of this play acting. Have you finished your packing?
No.
Well, hurry up. You leave first thing in the morning. And take off that ridiculous hat.
Wish I was going back to the malt house.
Of course you do. It was a dear little school.
Mrs. Corbett took us all for those lovely picnics on the beach.
You'll like rugby much better.
I like Mrs. Corbett.
And you'll do so well there.
I did well at the malt house.
I know you did.
I won the reading and recitation prize, and I learnt to swim. The waves were fierce, but I didn't care. One day in Swanage, I swam over the ledge out into the open sea.
You're so intrepid, my darling. You'll go from strength to strength. You'll sweep the board at rugby.
Hurry up, you'll be late.
Late? What for?
Call over, stupid. You get beaten if you're late for call over.
Beaten? Who by?
The sixth.
Sixth what?
Sixth form.
We didn't have a sixth form at the malt house.
You'll be late.
See if I care. I shall retire to the lavatory and lock myself in.
You'll have a job. There aren't any doors.
No doors? Who runs this barbarian establishment?
Right. Answer your names. Wade.
Here.
Seymour Garton.
Here.
Paul.
Here.
Innes Jones.
Here.
Graham. Graham. What is the number of his dormitory? Graham.
Yes?
Sit up. You cut call over. Why?
I was reading a book.
Reading a book? During call over?
Well, it's the only time I can get any peace and quiet.
What book?
The Bible in Spain by George Borrow.
Oh, I see. An airy-fairy blighter. Well, even airy-fairy blighters can't get away with breaking house rules.
Well, there are so many.
Tax the old grey cells, do they? You're a bumbler, Graham. And in this house, we don't like bumblers.
I may be a bit of a... what you say, but one day I'll be a great man. Mummy says so.
Oh, really? Mummy says that, does she? And what does Daddy say?
He hardly opens his mouth, as a matter of fact. He's Kenneth Grahame, you know.
Who?
The Kenneth Grahame. Creator of Toad.
Who?
Never heard of Mr. Toad? Oh, you are ignorant.
Who's that laughing? I'm not ignorant, Graham. You are. You're the worst fag in the history of this house. You're useless at rugger, hopeless at core. Fancy carrying your rifle upside down. Didn't you notice what the others were doing?
I was keeping my eyes to the front.
Silence! You're in a world of your own, aren't you? Well, I intend to beat you into the real one. Beat you till you're black and blue, if necessary. Do you understand that?
Yes.
See this hairbrush?
Yes.
I've broken a couple of these already this term. Now, get out of bed. And bend over.
Platoon, halt. Right turn. Stand at ease. Stand easy. Thank you, gentlemen. That's a great improvement. A few more weeks and the Blueberry veterans will be more than a match for the Kaiser. The next parade will be at the same time next week in Mr. Caldwell's barn. Platoon, dismiss!
It's a long way to Tipperary, it's a long way to go, and a long way to Tipperary.
Whatever are you making?
It's a splint, can't you see?
Oh, yes.
The base hospitals are crying out for them.
The veterans have elected me their commanding officer. Only, I hasten to add, because they think I'm the most martial-looking, not for any other reason. Takes me back to the London Scottish days.
Thrilling, isn't it? Mouse having the time of his life at Rugby. Our brave boys rescuing poor little Belgium. The world is suddenly young again.
Meanwhile, we really ought to try to solve the servant problem.
Oh, no time to worry about that.
The garden's going to pot, and the house is filthy. Do you realise there are mice nesting in the larder?
We're at war, Kenneth.
I must confess that one's patriotism falters when the servants join up.
It's your fault. You're on the recruiting committee. There. That's 4 splints, 2 backrests, and a pair of crutches. Not a bad week's work. Now I must go hunting while the light holds.
Elspeth, I wish you wouldn't.
Wouldn't what?
Go hunting, as you call it.
Well, we haven't a thing for supper.
You make yourself such a spectacle, clattering down the village street chasing after stray chickens.
I only hunt the dead ones, dear. I'm not as young as I was. Whoever's that?
Sounds like the telegram boy.
Can't be for us. We've got no one in France.
Telegram for Mr. and Mrs. Grahame.
Oh, thank you.
Give it to me.
What does it say?
This is an SOS. Please take me away from this school.
But it's only a few days till half-term.
I can't wait till half-term. I want to come home, now.
More tea, Mouse.
No, thank you.
Slice of cake?
No, thank you.
You've hardly eaten a thing.
I'm not hungry.
Poor lamb, he's still upset.
Try to talk to us, Mouse. Tell us what went wrong.
Nothing.
Don't be brave. Tell us.
I'm surprised you didn't get on with the other boys, Mouse.
Well, how can one talk to people whose only powers of conversation lie in their elbows?
Never mind. You have a good rest, and you'll go back quite refreshed.
I'm not going back.
Of course you are.
I am not going back.
But you can't simply give up. This is only your first term. Besides, Rugby is one of the best schools in the country.
It's not. It's the worst.
How can you say such a thing?
It's horrible. Horrible.
Now you're being ridiculous.
What made it so horrible, Mouse? Was it just the other boys?
Everything. The boys, the food, the work, the games, the stupid rules, the masters, everything.
I thought you liked the masters.
Only Roger Rum. He said I could go and sit in his dining room whenever I felt unhappy. But you can't be there all the time, and you always have the awful thought of going back.
Well, weren't things better after I'd arranged for you to change studies?
A bit. My new study mate at least tolerated me. But the studies are so small, like prison cells. To be cooped up with anyone is dreadful. Oh, I wish I was good at rugger. If you're good at rugger, you're a useful member of the house, and the boys like you. They don't mind if your fagging is inefficient. They don't mind if you forget all those endless stupid rules. But if you're a bumbler, they beat you. And they go on beating you till you remember. But I don't think I ever will, because they're pointless. The whole place is pointless. Please, don't make me go back. Ever.
Well, we'd better take soundings about another school.
6 weeks. It was hardly worth buying the uniform.
If not Rugby, where?
It's such a terrible admission of failure.
Oh. Perhaps I should go and see Quiller Cooch.
Oh, your boating pal. What does he know about schools?
As a professor at Cambridge, a fair amount, I imagine.
I don't trust Mr. Q.
Sir Q.
I hold him responsible for ruining our honeymoon, dragging you away on endless yachting trips.
You were invited?
I did not anticipate a honeymoon à trois.
What a glorious morning. You know, Q, you're as expert in a punt as in a yacht.
Well, in Cambridge, old fellow, needs must. I'm sorry to hear about the boy.
It's been quite a shock to us.
Of course, I had my doubts all along.
Did you? I never realised.
The public school business has become such a silly, specialised system. Only the largest preparatory school really prepares the poor chap for what he has to undergo. Certainly not a tiny school like the Malt House, with a handful of boys and a headmaster who's more like a matron. Now, Rugby is the place of all others where you get the system at full blast, with the least pity. Oh, plenty of kindness from X and Y, but no pity at all from the system. At Eton, Winchester, Wellington even, a toad may dodge the harrow, so to speak. They allow for eccentricities, as they call them. Rugby is ruthless. It's all a system. I'll be frank. I'm worried about the boy.
What do you think we should do?
Don't risk another boarding school.
Not even Eton or Winchester?
The boy is too delicate. If I were you, I'd send him to Clifton.
No, weren't you at Clifton yourself?
Yes, but that's not the point. The great advantage of Clifton is it's one of the few public schools that accepts day boys. Of course, it would mean moving house. Mrs. Grahame would have to surrender the boy totally to the school in term time. As a day boy, he would only come home to sleep. Would she be prepared to do that?
Oh, I doubt it.
Then get him a private tutor. I know a thundering good fellow. Massive, ex-rugby, blue.
So, that's settled. He goes to Eton.
Won't that be just as bad?
Bad, Mouse? Eton is the best school in the world.
Elspeth, listen to me. Are we simply going to ignore Q's advice?
Mouse is our only child, Kenneth. He's our responsibility, no one else's. I don't think Q fully appreciates the fact that he has unique talent.
Oh, what talent?
Don't be difficult.
Will I have to take common entrance again?
I sincerely hope not. Your father will simply have a word with the headmaster, won't you, Kenneth?
Oh, the war should make things easier.
In any case, you've nothing to fear from common entrance. You got into rugby.
Just.
You passed with flying colours.
That is not so. With all due respect to Mouse, he came very near the bottom of the list, and he was one of the oldest. He clearly does not find examinations easy.
Easy? They're agony.
Well, he's awfully good at games.
Ha.
Look what I came across the other day, Mouse. See this photograph? There. Quite the little cricketer, aren't you? Bat, pads, you look splendid.
I can't play for toffee.
Nonsense. You did awfully well at the Malt House, all things considered. What were you? I forget.
12th man and scorer for the second 11.
There you are.
In a school of 25, hardly an achievement.
Q is right, Elspeth. The boy is not robust. His experience proves that.
I will not have him belittled, least of all by Q. You're as strong as an ox, my angel. All you need is a little understanding, a little encouragement, and plenty of expert tuition. You deserve the best, and the best is Eton. Oh, we don't want to lose you, but you must have one more try. For boys of ambition never say die. Come on, Kenneth.
We shall want you and miss you, and with all our might and main, we will cheer you, thank you,
kiss you.
Don't!
Oh, all right.
till you come home again. Goodbye, old chap.
Goodbye, Mouse darling.
Good luck.
Luck? He doesn't need luck. He'll sweep the board at Eton. Give it everything you've got.
He's surviving.
What did I tell you?
He's doing better.
He's been moved up.
He's in the remove.
After only a year.
Well played.
Whatever you do, don't slacken now.
He's under tremendous pressure.
Send reinforcements.
More tuck.
More money.
A brand new bicycle.
Are you all right, Graham? You do get on with the other boys, don't you? Is the work too hard for you? Is it your eyes? Graham, what is wrong?
I want to go home.
I simply do not understand. We gave him everything he wanted. Money, clothes, tuck. We couldn't have done more. Eton, the best school in the world. I was so disappointed I could hardly bear it. Perhaps one should have sent him to a tutor sooner, but how was one to know? One thought a change of schools would do the trick. Never mind, my darling. You soon recovered. Plenty of swimming, riding. In no time you were fighting fit again, ready for the challenge of Oxford.
Mouse, I've got some good news for you.
It's so well deserved, my darling.
What is it?
The house has offered you a place for next term.
What house?
Christchurch.
Oxford, my darling. Isn't that wonderful?
I want to join the army. Go to France, fight like the others.
Mouse, please.
You can always join the OTC.
I know what'll happen. The damned war will be over and I shall have missed it.
Do stop talking about the war. I don't want even to contemplate your being sent to France.
I shouldn't worry, my dear. I'm sure Mouse will never have to go. Poor chap with his eyes. He wouldn't know a Hun from a Hottentot.
I could do something, surely.
You are going to do something, Mouse. You're going to Oxford.
You lucky chap.
Your father's green with envy. He never succeeded in getting to Oxford.
Did you fail?
No, I didn't fail. I never had the opportunity. My uncle insisted I go straight into the bank.
I know you're a little young, Mouse, but you're so mature. And it'll give you a head start over the other boys of your age.
How do you mean?
Well, it'll give you a chance to pass, whatever it's called, before the others arrive.
FPE.
FPE?
First Public Examination.
Right, the examination is about to start, and I need hardly remind you that the same discipline applies as in your school examinations. There are two papers, Holy Scripture and Greek and Latin literature. You must pass them both in order that you may read for honours. But take heart, neither paper is difficult. The first public examination at this university is, to use a well-worn metaphor, child's play.
March 1918. Holy Scripture.
Fail.
December 1918. Holy Scripture.
Fail.
March 1919. Greek and Latin literature.
Fail. Pass or go.
June 1919. Greek and Latin.
Fail. Graham A. Christchurch ceases to be a member of this university, but may continue to resit the examination.
Come on, Mouse. It's child's play, remember?
Holy Scripture.
Fail.
Greek and Latin.
Fail. In future examinations, an application for an amanuensis may be made, as in the case of blind students.
March 1920. Greek and Latin literature.
Pass.
Pass?
Pass. 2 years over FPE. Must be a record.
The bells are ringing for Marvellous Mouse.
The birds are singing for Marvellous Mouse. Everybody's been knowing
that his worth he'd be showing.
I admit she is crowing, my excitable spouse. We're celebrating for Marvellous Mouse. The world is waiting for Marvellous Mouse.
And very soon he'll show the world a thing or two or three or four or more.
So drink now to Marvellous Mouse.
I hate to dampen your ardour, but I still have to pass Scripture.
A formality.
After 3 attempts?
Now, at last, your foot is on the ladder.
I have to pass in both subjects.
Don't take it off again.
Without Scripture, I haven't passed FPE.
Mount it steadily, rung by rung.
Without FPE, I haven't even started.
The next step is an honours degree.
The next step is to pass Scripture.
Oh, come on, Mouse. Cheer up. Scripture's your favourite subject.
I loathe Scripture.
But you're my little mystic. Have you forgotten your friend, the carpenter? He was your first pal.
I don't have any pals.
Nonsense. You were always a social animal.
And I don't believe any more.
Darling, you've grown up.
You haven't the smallest particle of understanding, have you?
Mouse, I've got something for you.
What is it?
Look and see.
Cruden's Concordance. And what's this for?
Well, it's a kind of religious dictionary.
A dictionary?
To help you with your doubts.
A dictionary? At least he's not a hypocrite like you, reading the lesson every Sunday when you know it's a lot of hooey.
What did your tutor have to say, Mouse? Was he helpful?
He said my handwriting had improved.
What does it matter? All that matters is that you've passed that beastly exam, and now you will go on from strength to strength. Oh, Kenneth, I'm so thrilled. We'll celebrate. We'll invite all our friends.
We don't have any friends.
We'll play the gramophone, one of our old favourites. Mouse, you shall choose. Let's dance. Come on, Mouse. You must join in. You're the one we're celebrating. You're the one who... Mouse, what are you doing?
Get up out of the road, there's a good fellow.
It's not a road, it's a railway line.
I am Toad once more.
I can see it clearly now. It's an engine on our rails, coming along at a great pace.
Toad, the terror.
Get up, you'll be killed.
They're gaining on us fast.
Lord of the Lone Trail.
The engine is crowded with people, all waving and shouting.
Stop!
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 On the evening of the 7th of May, Alistair Grahame, a commoner of Christ Church, Oxford, dined in hall, as usual. After the meal, he asked for a glass of port, which, according to a fellow undergraduate, he had never done before. Then, it was not yet dark, he went for a solitary walk across Port Meadow. It was the last time he was seen alive.
Was the body between the rails?
Yes, in the 4-foot way of the down line. The cause of death was decapitation. The right arm was fractured below the shoulder, the left leg 4 inches above the ankle, and all the toes of the right foot. There were also numerous bruises on the body due to abrasion by projecting parts of the trains and engines as they passed over him. 6 trains passed the spot between 10 o'clock and 2:45 a.m. when the body was found.
Are these injuries compatible with being knocked down by a train and then run over?
I could not answer the first part of the question as to being knocked down, but certainly they are compatible with being run over.
Gentlemen, this is a case of the saddest type. A young man, the only son of his parents, with every comfort, on the best of terms with his parents, without any trouble, either financial or any other, suddenly loses his life. Now, it is quite obvious that an occurrence of this sort might be due to one of 2 things. It might be due to a deliberate attempt on the part of the person to destroy himself. And in this case, it must be admitted that the injuries described by the medical officer allow the possibility that the deceased may have been already lying on the rails when he was run over. That is to say, he may, and I stress may, have deliberately laid himself down in a slightly diagonal position, his neck and left shoulder on one rail, his right foot and left leg on the other, and waited. I have spelled this out because, I submit, that such an act is inconceivable without the strongest motive. And in this case, obviously, there was no motive whatever. The only things found in his pockets were a few religious tracts, which is hardly surprising since he was studying theology. And there was nothing left at his lodgings to show any anxiety or trouble in his life. Friday evening was dark, as I happen to know because I was out late.
If a man somewhat blind, physically weak, went out for a walk, and by some chance got on the railway line, even though he was near a level crossing, and even though it was an area he must have known well by day, at night it would be a dangerous place. An accident might well occur. I leave you to consider your verdict.
Oh, Kenneth, I'm so relieved.
What about?
The verdict.
Oh.
Well, there it is, in black and white, for all to see. How dare anyone suggest now that it was not an accident?
It's only a silly rumour.
Well, people are hateful. Hateful. Even Q.
I'll write him a letter and explain what happened.
Poor little mite. To think of him suffering like that.
My dear, try not to upset yourself.
Those horrible, horrible injuries. Oh, take the newspaper away. I can't bear to look at it.
Try to be calm, Elspeth. He's at peace now.
He was too good for this world. He came down to us for a little while, inspired that beautiful book, and departed. Do you remember that wonderful thing he said when he was just a little chap? He said it to Nanny, and he can't have been a day over 4. He said, "Death is promotion."
It's a beautiful day. Why don't we sit outside and have lunch in the garden?
There's only a chicken leg.
We'll share it, and I'll open a bottle of port.
Dino.
Minky.
To us.
I'm going to take you on a long holiday.
Holiday? Where?
Italy.
Italy? Oh, Dino, am I allowed to share your beloved Italy? We'll go there every year.
More if we want to.
I can't wait to gorge myself on that heavenly architecture.
I can't wait to gorge myself on that heavenly ice cream.
Now be careful, Dino. Too much ice cream is bad for the heart.
You know, I've started to write again.
You haven't?
Oh, only a short tribute to Keats, nothing too demanding.
We'll move house. Find somewhere smaller, cosier. Just right for 2.
What about his things?
What things?
His clothes, his cricket bat.
Give them to the jumble sale. I want to drink a toast. Refill my glass. The listener.
Who?
The little night-gowned boy.
Oh, yes.
Without such a listener, there never would have been such a story.
I feel strangely tired.
Without him, there would have been no toad, no badger, no mole, no ratty.
I feel just as you do, Mole. Simply dead tired. No, not body tired.
I feel ratty. As if I had been through something very exciting and rather terrible, and it was just over.
It's lucky we've got the stream with us to take us home.
It's like music. Faraway music. What is it?
Only the wind, playing in the reeds.
What does it say? I can't catch the words.
It says, forget. Forget.
Forget.
Pangboard! Pangboard! Anyone for Pangboard?
All right. Porter! Porter! I wish I could forget. Perhaps I should try what that batty old woman suggested. Find a photograph. Make your mind a blank. If only I could. And just ask. So simple.
Dino, are you listening? Are you there? Dino, I'm looking at a photograph of Mouse, the one we liked so much. He's got his little cricket bat. He looks so happy. But in the silence, I keep going back to that night, to the railway. Dino, if you can hear me, put my mind at rest. It was an accident, wasn't it?
In The Killing of Mr. Toad by David Gooderson, Elspeth Graham was played by Barbara Jefford, Kenneth Grahame by Edward Hardwick, Alistair Graham by Stephen Garlick, and Alistair as a Child by Susan Sheridan. Figgis was played by Colin Starkey, Miss Noyce by Nerissa Knights, Miss Parker by Tessa Worsley, Ratty and Quilla Cooch by John Warner, Badger by Geoffrey Matthews, Mole by Edward Hardwick, and Toad by Stephen Garlick. Fletcher Moulton and the Coroner were played by David Garth, the Doctor by John Webb, Clayton by William Hope, and Clayton's wife by Tessa Worsley. The first official was Brian Smith, the prefect Michael Jenner. The piano was played by Mary Nash, and the play was directed by Richard Workley.
Tonight's play here on Radio 4 provides a classic radio appearance for Sir Ralph Richardson as Cyrano de Bergerac, poet, swordsman and wit who's doomed in love by his preposterous nose. It starts at 7:45 this evening. Meanwhile, on BBC One at 9:15, the story is updated to the 20th century in the film Roxanne, starring the comedian Steve Martin.